Year before, 64 1 and 1081. Good. Yeah. This 16 last year. Ankle surgery.
There you go. Perfect. So it's going to go.
There it is. Surgery. Specifically, tightrope ankle surgery.
It's okay. It's all right. You said 417, Chris?
417.
And the surgery was after his junior year?
It was this year. He was 16.
Oh, okay. Say you missed 16.
He was limited to exercise. He was
Ashley, how are you? Good.
All right, we'll open up with just overall. You guys can, each of you can talk about Mr. Tillman.
No, really excited to add him on our team. I think I might have shared this, but you never know how it falls. So, we'd worked through a few scenarios where he would be there, and we're always trying to add as many talented players on our team. So, really looking forward to adding his size, his ability to catch the football, his toughness. He plays a brand of football that we're trying to play. We obviously feel really good about this addition.
Definitely echo that. Super excited to add Cedric. Great person, good player. It'll be another tool in our toolbox for Deshaun. So very excited with the addition.
It was to keep supplying Deshaun, with more weapons as he heads into his first full season.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blend of a few things. I think we understand how important it is to have a really strong passing attack, just to balance out, obviously, Nick, who's one of the best backs in the league. So that was in consideration. And also, it's just, as the board falls, you want to make sure you're considering the best talent available. And, Tillman was definitely in that conversation. So we're really excited to first kind of just add the talent and then the added bonus of someone who can enhance our passing attack. No, you're good. Go ahead.
Size over speed at that position.
No, I wouldn't say that that's the distinction that we made. I would say that's definitely his strength. He's a big dude, 6'3", 215. But I wouldn't say he doesn't have the ability to contribute on all three levels, to get behind DBs and make plays down the field, Tony. So I wouldn't say we made a trade-off in terms of size versus speed, but that definitely is his strength.
A ton of end zone targets at Tennessee, despite missing a bunch of games with the ankle last year. Do you feel like he can help you guys in the red zone, especially?
Absolutely, he can help us, as Glenn mentioned. I think he's going to be able to help us there, but also on all three levels. He's run a ton of comebacks route in his career. He can create separation on the intermediate level as well. So we just feel that he's going to be able to help in many ways.
I know he missed some time with an ankle surgery last year. How concerned are you guys? And how do the medicals? Obviously, they must have checked out pretty well. Are you confident in that ankle?
Yeah, we did our work. We definitely did the research in that area and give him a lot of credit, which speaks to just his makeup. The kid battled to get back. He probably could have just kind of held himself out, but I think he wanted to contribute to a really successful team in Tennessee and maybe not have as much on-field statistical production, but still be a part of their high-powered success. So obviously we consider all those things when we're making decisions, and we felt pretty good about it.
In his college career, so how big was that in terms of his evaluation that he was really good in that area?
Yep, definitely a piece of the puzzle, sure-handed, and really someone that's going to be able to come down with the football and help us make play on offense.
He was the defensive end at that position. You had three of them on the board that looked draftable.
It felt pretty good, as it played out when you got to probably 3 or 4 picks before, we were on the clock. Just our options there, Tony. So, ultimately we ended up, really feeling good about Cedric being the choice. But we felt good about how the board sat once we were sitting at 64. 7.
When you talk about him playing the brand of football you guys want to play, I guess what exactly do you mean by that, and what stood out for him in that?
I think you've heard Coach say smart, tough, accountable. I think that's what I was referencing in my thought process. He plays to his size. He's a big, physical young man. He does not say much per se, but it jumps out on the film, just his size and the way he makes plays on defenders down the field. So when I speak to that, that's what I was speaking to.
The biggest edge that you would say Cedric has compared to a guy like Hyatt who went right before, because if you look at it, Cedric was supposed to be the go-to guy, but then had that ankle injury, and that's where Hyatt was kind of sitting there right there with him.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if we considered an edge per se. Two pretty talented guys. I think Jimmy Haslam was pretty excited to have the compliments that they brought to their offense, and I think the league saw it similar with the fact that they went off the board right behind each other. But again, Cedric has his strengths, and Hyatt's a really talented player as well. So, I wouldn't say there was a particular edge.
How many receivers are too many?
I don't know if there's such thing. To be honest with you, we're always looking for competition in that room. We're looking to put the best players on the field and give as many weapons as we can to our quarterback.
Catherine, when you mentioned tools in the toolbox for Deshaun, how important are different body types in that receiver when you guys put it together?
I think when we think about it from a draft perspective, we're just really trying to acquire the best talent available, and however that falls at the pick that we're picking, that's what we're going to go for. Now, having some diversity, looking at different skill set definitely helps. But again, when we think about it, about our board and where it fell, it's really about acquiring the best talent that's out there.
Good wide receivers come from everywhere, but the SEC pedigree, how did he play in those conference games matched up against the Auburns and the Georgias?
Yeah, like I said, I think when you talk about just his toughness and his competitiveness, I think we understand all the talent that's in this league in the secondary, and it's not going to come easy to you. And I think he expressed some of the potential to really compete downfield and use his ability to make plays in contested situations. The margins are thin, and I think he showed the ability to make plays in that way. So.
An adjustment, Tennessee's offense is unique and, somewhat unique. How much of an adjustment is there going to be to maybe your guys' scheme compared to what he was running with in Knoxville?
That's a good question. It's definitely something you consider. They do a really good job there of putting their guys in position to make plays and utilize all their tools. And, I think we have faith that Kevin can do the same thing. So I think all college players have, especially at the receiver position, some of these skill positions, there's a learning curve, and, it takes them a little bit of time to transition at times. But, we feel good about his makeup. We feel good about what he can do that, it may not be seamless, we'll see, but we're not concerned about the transition.
What was it like sitting up there waiting for 73 guys to go off the board before you finally had a chance to make a pick?
It was definitely worth the wait. But no, we had our strategy going in, and we were not just sitting there. We were really looking at different scenarios, whether it would be to go up, down, and really kind of figuring out however the board falls, like what we were planning on doing. So, excited to finally make that pick.
How big of a learning curve were you anticipating with Cedric? I mean, reality is he's a third-round pick, not a first-round pick here, and you've got a crowded room there. So just what's the trajectory that you...
Yeah, I think we're comfortable with, starting with CO, who we think is a really talented receiver coach, AVP Kevin. I think we're comfortable with the abilities we have on that side of the football to make his onboarding process, like I said, as seamless as we can. You never know. We believe in his ability to learn the game. He's a smart young man. He works really, really hard. So I don't think we have significant concerns about his ability to transition. Again, we'll see. We'll see. He has to go out and compete, but we believe it's in him.
How much did it appeal to you that his dad had played in the NFL, been a wide receiver, and is there anything else about his background story that you guys like?
Yeah, I think, and Kat, you can add it, I think just the beauty of who he is. I think we had a chance to meet with him at the Combine, have him in for a 30 visit. Obviously, we have strong ties to the University of Tennessee. I went to 2 games this year, so had a lot of opportunity to just be around the young man, and he's just first and foremost an exceptional individual. Mm-hmm. He's a work first, speak second type of person, and so all those things really, those are more appealing than what he can do on the field. First and foremost, just what he's going to bring. So I think we're really excited about that.
Anybody in the scouting process consider his ceiling to be a number 1 receiver in the NFL?
It's in him. We'll see. I don't have a crystal ball on that, Tony. We believe in what he can do, and coach is going to utilize him to the best of his ability, and we'll make sure we maximize what he can do.
Scouting report that he lined up primarily on the right side in Tennessee's offense. How Does that factor into like your evaluation process? Is that something you guys really pay attention to, where they have these guys lining up?
When we go through the evaluation process for these guys, we look at everything. So we definitely know, we look at all the information that's out there now. How that's going to translate and how we're going to use him at the next level, that's something we leave up to our coaches, and our coaches are going to make sure that they maximize, just to Glenn's point, maximize their strength and put these guys in the best position to succeed, to develop and succeed.
How would you describe his route running ability? It seems like with the Browns receiver room, it's the quality that you see is pretty high up there for guys like Amari and Elijah, and from the reports, it looks like his route running is up there as well.
Well, as we mentioned, and that's a guy that we think can make play down the field. That's a guy that did come down with the ball in contested situation on the third level. It's a guy who can help us in the red zone. As I mentioned earlier, that's also a guy that runs a ton of curls and that can get open at the top of routes and on the intermediate level. So really that's someone that we feel good about the overall skill set, ability to run the routes that our coaches are going to want to put in the game plan and be successful.
Excited you can kind of pair him with Amari, not so much on the field, but just in the meeting room, in the locker room, just, have him sort of learn from him, the art of being a professional receiver.
Yeah, I think we're fortunate to have someone like Amari, and honestly even like Elijah, different types of competitors. But I think when you have two guys like that in the room, and some of the other players we have in the group, it's about competition. I think those guys they'll raise the game of each other. But it's definitely awesome to have a guy like Amari setting the example for how to approach the game of football as a receiver. Say it again.
Can he play inside?
Yeah, I think Kevin will find a way to use him. Tony, we'll see. I think we're still working through, how we want to deploy, everyone on offense. But I think Kevin will, like I said before, put him in the best positions for him to make plays and help us.